jagatim raudram viparyastatu dharminah papiyasi nrinam vartam rodalobhantatmana kalasya jagatim raudram viparyastatu dharminah regularities, sinful, of the human being, vartam, means of livelihood, krodha, anger, lobha, greed, anvrita, falsehood, atmana, of the people. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful, and he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood. Kindly repeat. He saw that the direction of eternal time had changed, and this was very fearful. There were disruptions in the seasonal regularities. The people in general had become very greedy, angry, and deceitful. And he saw that they were adopting foul means of livelihood. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes of seasonal regulations, foul means of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence become rampant. The change of seasonal regulations refers to one season's atmosphere becoming manifest in another season. For example, the rainy seasons being transferred to autumn, or the fructification of fruits and flowers from one season in another season. A godless man is invariably greedy, angry, and fraudulent. Such a man can earn his livelihood by any means, black or white. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, all the above symptoms were conspicuous by their absence. But Maharaj Yudhishthira was astonished to experience even a slight change in the godly atmosphere of his kingdom, and at once he suspected the disappearance of the Lord. Foul means of livelihood implies deviation from one's occupational duty. There are prescribed duties for everyone. There are prescribed duties for everyone, such as the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. But anyone who deviates from his prescribed duty and declares another's duty to be his own is following a foul and improper duty. A man becomes too greedy for wealth and power when he has no higher objective in life, and when he thinks that this earthly life of a few years is all in all. Ignorance is the cause for all these anomalies in human society, and to remove this ignorance, especially in this age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus, in Bhaktivedanta Purport. Om Jnana Tasya Jnana Tasya Shakshashvinitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nidinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vachara Deveshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita a story about how a man, he was a disciple or a follower of a big politician. So in due course of time the politician died, and shortly after that his follower also died. An ardent follower, like a disciple of that politician. So when this man, when this follower, he died, he came to the gate of Yamaraj. So in front of Yamaraj's gate there was a big queue. So he also had to stand in the queue, he was standing in the queue. And at the gate, they were checking everybody's ID and then letting them inside. So he was standing and he saw that on the wall of the gate there were innumerable clocks lined up. And some of them were moving fast, some of them moving slow. So he was thinking maybe some watch company would have donated some clocks. Some they are not maintained properly, probably. Some are running slow, some are running fast. So the queue went on and then finally he came to the gate. So his ID was also checked before being allowed inside. So he curiously asked, what is this, all this, so many clocks lying on the wall? Not properly maintaining it. I think battery is over in some of them. And some of them are running too fast to get them repaired. So the gatekeeper said, no, that each watch represents one person. So if a man tells more lies, the needle will move faster. And if somebody does not lie, the needle will not move. For example, you look at, if you point at one clock, it was stagnant, it was just standing still like that. That is, you know who that is? That is Raja Harishchandra's. Till date, the needle has never moved. So this man moved really. And everybody else says somebody is moving a little fast, somebody is moving slow. Then he started saying, where is my politician, my master's clock? I could not find. He said, I'm not able to find my master's clock. Where is that? He said. So this gatekeeper said, oh, that guy's clock. That guy kept it in our office. We use it as a table fan. Means it is moving so fast. They are using it as a table clock. So that means you can understand how many lies a politician will be telling. So here the Bhagavatam is saying that during his time there was no falsehood among the people. People were not telling any lies. They were all very truthful. So but then even a little change in the people's attitude, people's mood, people's approach to life, he would immediately sense, why are these people started telling lies? This was unexpected. Immediately he would sense, oh, Krishna must have suspected. As we will see in the further verses, he immediately sends Arjuna. Yudhishthira immediately sent Arjuna to Dwaraka to find out whether everything is okay. So the Bhagavatam here is saying, what all did Yudhishthira Maharaj notice? He saw Kalasya Gatim Viparyasta, the direction of eternal time had changed. So how did he notice that the eternal time had changed its direction? Because he saw Ritu, the seasons were going out of their regularities, and he also saw that Ritu Dharmina, the Ritus had gone out of their regular schedule or cycle. So there are, how many Ritus are there in a year? 4. 6 Ritus are there. What are the Ritus? Grishma Ritu, okay then. Varsha Ritu. Sharad Ritu, then. Vasanta Ritu, then. Shishir Ritu, right? Which Ritu are we in now? Grishma Ritu. Shishir Ritu, right? Because it's winter season. So, the order in which they are supposed to come in a particular order. We have Vasanta Ritu in the beginning of the year, then we have Varsha Ritu, then we have Sharad Ritu, then we have Hemanta Ritu, and then Grishma Ritu, then Varsha Ritu, then Hemanta Ritu, then finally we are supposed to have Shishir Ritu. Right? These are the 6 seasons that are supposed to come and go in cycles. But in Kali Yuga, he saw that there were discrepancies in this Ritu. Like for instance now, this Shishir Ritu, we are experiencing that it's more like Hemanta Ritu. Right? It's more like Kartik Mas, extended Kartik Mas we are enjoying. So, in this part of the world, we are experiencing slightly warmer winter. So they are saying this is all because of global warming. Global warming is going to destroy this world. Everywhere the ice is going to melt and the water is going to inundate the whole world. So we have to protect the world against global warming, etc. etc. Now simultaneously, what people don't emphasize or they don't highlight is in the desert in Saudi Arabia. Desert, what is supposed to be the climate, is supposed to be always very hot, right? Desert is a place where there is very difficult to find water. Correct? Saudi Arabia now, we are feeling warm here, right? Saudi Arabia is snowing. It is snowing in the Middle East. So, it's all out of this one. It's in the desert it is snowing. And where it should be cold, it is becoming warm. And you will find during the Varsha Ritu, some places there is drought. In India itself, you forget about the world. In India itself, in Vrindavan and those places, farmers will be committing suicide. Why? Because there is no rains, drought. And if you see northeast Assam, there will be floods. In Bihar, there will be floods. People are displaced, people are killed, homes are washed away. So all these irregularities in seasons and the over or extremities in climates. Somewhere it is drought, somewhere it is flood, somewhere it is warm, somewhere it is snowing. So these kind of irregularities have become part of Kali Yuga. And as Kali Yuga progresses, these irregularities will become more and more prominent. And then he noticed, Yudhishthira Maharaj noticed, that Nrina Papiyasam Vartam, the people's Vartam, livelihood, means of livelihood, will become, as Prabhupada is saying, people started adopting foul means of livelihood. So that means one person's duty, occupational duty, is to be a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Shudra, but he starts performing the duties of some other Varna. So, we will see that in Kali Yuga, it is not possible to pinpoint a particular Varna of a person. Is this a person a Brahmana, or is he a Kshatriya, or is he a Vaishya, or is he a Shudra? You cannot make out. Somebody will claim that he is a Brahmana, but he will be working for someone else. So working under someone else is the occupation of a Shudra, not a Brahmana. And the politician is supposed to be a Kshatriya, but the politicians, like for instance now in the US, the US presidential elections are going on. The race has started for the US presidential elections. So one of the front runners for becoming the president of the United States of America is Donald Trump, who is a billionaire businessman. So is he a Vaishya or is he a Kshatriya? How do you identify? And not only Donald Trump, if you see India, every politician, if you go to his home, he will be having big businesses from him. So what happens is 5 years they come to power. After 5 years when they go out of power, they will keep running their business. So is he a businessman or is he a Kshatriya? You cannot make out. So in Kali Yuga, Nrunam Bhagavatam Papi Yasi, and then Atma of the people in general, Krodha, Lobha, and Vrita, these things become very prominent. Krodha means people become very angry, very short notice people will become become angry. Just like you will see when in the roads, when you are driving, one vehicle, if it comes close to another vehicle, the other guy will start abusing. And nowadays you will see that road rage has become a very common thing. There was a news the other day that one ex-cricketer, Wasim Akram, you must all have heard of him, in Pakistan, he was driving his car and in a traffic junction, his car almost touched another car. So the guy from the other car got down, walked up to Wasim Akram's car, whipped out a pistol and started shooting. And that guy somehow managed to duck and escape. It became big news because he was a cricketer. Otherwise, like this, so many incidents must be going on. So many people are getting killed also, which will not even be reported. So you see, just one vehicle came in touch with another vehicle, you're going and shooting a person. So much anger, uncontrollable anger. No valid reason actually. Little bit it came in touch, okay, what is there? You go to the workshop and paint the vehicle over. For that you go and shoot and kill another person. So much anger is there. Lobha, greed. People are not happy with whatever they have got, they want more. And Andrita. Andrita means they are deceitful. Like I was telling you about the table fan. So, if in the Kali Yuga, if everyone wants to have a clock, everything would be running like a super fan. So much Andrita, so much deceit. Even small things people want to like. Yesterday we were sitting with one person and we were talking to him. Some discussion was going on. Suddenly he got a phone call and he picked up the phone and because we were discussing with him, somehow his next appointment got delayed a bit. So he picked up the phone. मैं निकल चुका हूँ. रास्ते में हूँ. अभी 5 मिनट में पहुँच रहा हूँ. He's sitting in the office right in front of us, and it's a very common thing. Nobody even thinks about these things, but actually he's lying. See, deceit. When small things people will start telling lies. So this is the nature of Kali Yuga, and it's very unfortunate that in Kali Yuga this kind of things are happening. So people in this modern age also understand that there is so much amount of lobha, krodha, amrita, these things are going on, and people understand that these are not desirable things. That is why sometimes you have an agitation against corruption. Somebody will come and do one dharma, and he will mobilize all the people. Finally, he himself will become a politician, and he will also start doing the same thing. So what is the reason? Actually, people are not able to pinpoint why all these things are happening. Why so much crime is increasing in the world today? Actually, if you see the other day, 2 days back there was news that a minor, juvenile crimes are increasing. So one juvenile means somebody who is less than 18 years old. So juvenile crime laws, because if a person who is less than 18 years commits a crime, he is given a lesser punishment. He is not treated like that under the normal criminal laws. There are juvenile criminal laws, and the punishment is much milder than what is meted out to an adult who commits a crime. The same crime, if it is committed by an adult, the punishment will be very severe. So one juvenile, he raped one girl, so he was sent into one juvenile home. Generally they are sent to juvenile correction homes. So for 2 years he was kept there in detention. Then he was released. Within a week of his release, he again committed the same crime, and again he was arrested. Now, yesterday, after another 2 days, one more news came out. That one juvenile, he committed a murder, and he was sent to a juvenile home. And 2 months later, he came out of the juvenile home, and the next day he again murdered somebody else. So you see, it's becoming a major problem. So the whole country is talking, should we continue to treat juvenile criminals in a less severe manner than adults are punished? Should we be lenient to juvenile criminals? So there is a lot of clamor going on to revamp the whole juvenile criminal law. So people understand that these are undesirable things, and we have to somehow correct the situation. But then they don't know, simply by tweaking the law or making a new law, they are not going to solve the problem. The problem will continue. It's not going to go away. It's only going to increase. So Prabhupada is mentioning why are these lobha, krodha, amrita, why these things are increasing in Kali Yuga. Because when civilization is disconnected from the loving relation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, symptoms like changes in seasonal regulations, foul needs of livelihood, greed, anger, and fraudulence become rampant. So actually this is the key thing. That when we disconnect ourselves from the loving relationship of Krishna, because every living entity has got this propensity to love. And when that love is not satisfied, it turns into frustration, it turns into anger, it turns into kama. And then we will see all these problems start falling one after the other. So because of the unsatisfied desire of the living entity to experience pure love of its relationship with Krishna, all the problems that we are seeing in the world today are coming about. There is a value degradation in the society, simply because of this one simple thing. Because they are not able to satisfy their propensity to love the Supreme Lord. Because of that disconnection, greed, anger, deceit, these things increase. So, now that the society has become disconnected, what to do? Because if we see the first chapter of this first canto of the Bhagavatam, the last verse, the 23rd verse, the first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam is entitled Questions by the Sages. So, the last question that the sages asked Suta Goswami was Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashta Madhunopete Dharma Kam Sharanam Data. The question was, since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. So as long as Krishna, the father of all religion, was present on this planet, there is no scope or no space for irreligion to take place. There is no place for irreligion in the society. But the moment Krishna left this planet, we can see right during the time of the Pandavas, Yudhishthira Maharaj immediately started seeing irreligion taking prominence. And that was 5,000 years ago. So 5,000 years have passed since Krishna left for his abode. So we can imagine how much irreligion has progressed. So what is the hope? So now that Krishna is gone, 5,000 years have also passed since Krishna is gone. Is there no hope? Are we to assume that religion will go on rising and this is the fate? We are all condemned because Krishna has left us, he has rejected us, forgotten us. No. In the third chapter, Suta Goswami replies to this question in the 43rd verse. So, Suta Goswami says, Krishne Swadhamo Bhagate Dharma Jnanadvi Hisaha. So, Krishna, Swadhama, he has gone to his own abode. Upagate, he has gone. Krishna has gone back to his own abode. And he did not, when did he go alone? No. Dharma Jnanadvi Hisaha. He took along with him Dharma and Jnana both. Knowledge and Dharma both accompanied Krishna since Krishna has left, accompanied by Dhamma and Jnana, Kalau Nashta Drisha, the people in Kali Yuga have become Nashta Drisha. They have lost their vision, they have become blind. As Prahlad Maharaj also says, that this civilization is a civilization of blind people being led by blind leaders. Right? So, why the people have become blind, Nashpadrisha? Because knowledge is no more there. Knowledge is supposed to be the lamp with which we can walk on the path of dharma. So, if knowledge is not there, you are completely blinded. Naturally, you will walk the path of dharma. So, Kalau Nashpadrisha, for the people of Kali Yuga who have lost their vision because knowledge and dharma have left along with Krishna. Yesha Purana Arko Adhnoditaha. Yesha Purana, this Bhagavata Purana, Arka, the son of this Bhagavata Purana, Adhuna Udita, has now risen. So, the knowledge that has accompanied Krishna, that has gone away with Krishna along with Dharma, that knowledge is being distributed in Kali Yuga by the Bhagavata Purana. So Srila Prabhupada ends this purport to this verse by saying, ignorance is the cause for all these anomalies in human society. And to remove this ignorance, especially in this age of degradation, the powerful sun is there to distribute light in the shape of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, simply if we distribute the knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam, all these vices that we see in the society can be curbed. They can be brought under control. If we simply think that I'll make some law, I'll make some institution, I will create some movement, some dharna, some people's movement, Lokpal, this pal, that pal, none of these pals are going to help. Whatever law you bring into force, a man who is corrupt, he will find ways to circumvent that. Once what happened, in Akbar's court, his soldiers brought one official to him, saying that this official, he has been caught asking for bribe. So Akbar was not corrupt, fortunately. He was honest. So he said, this man, he has done like this, I'll punish this man, this and all that. Some punishment he gave. He got very angry. And then he said, find a post for him where he will not be able to commit any corruption. Find a post, and he is a government servant. So put him in a job where he cannot take any bribe. So Birbal actually spoke up. He said, Janvana, it is not possible to find a job for this man where he cannot be corrupt. Corrupt man will always be corrupt. He will find some way to take bribe. So Akbar said, hey, come on, there must be something. Birbal said, no, Janvana, it is not possible. So Akbar said, Akbar's ego got this one. I will show you. Acha, I will find some way. So he said, okay. He told his soldiers, take this man and put him on the ocean, and his job from today is to count the waves of the ocean. That is his job. So then he turned to Birbal. Now what corruption he will do? So Birbal said, Janvana, please wait. I will tell you. So a few days passed. After a few days, Birbal came to Janvana, to Akbar, and he said, please disguise yourself like a boatman. I will take you out today. So Akbar and Birbal disguised themselves like boatmen. They took one boat and then they started rowing in the ocean. Then they came in front of this place where this man was counting. This official, this corrupt official was counting the waves. And because they were in disguise, he could not make out. Akbar and Birbal are there. So the moment this boat came there, he started shouting, hey, what are you doing? I'm government official, don't you realize? So these people, they both got out of the boat and said, oh, we are sorry, we didn't know that you are a government official. I am under the direct order of Akbar Janvana, do you know? So they said, no sir, sorry, we didn't know. You have of the land. I will complain about both of you and see that both of you are hanged. So immediately both of them, no, please save us, please don't do this. We didn't know, we are small fishermen, something by mistake we came. We will take our boat and go far away. This, that, they started pleading. Finally, they were pleading with him, and he was really angry. And then finally he pulled out his head. Take it. 2 gold coins you give, and then you go. I'll manage. Don't worry. So immediately we will see, I told you that corrupt man will always be corrupt. So no matter what law you make Lokpal, Na-Lokpal, Ugra Lokpal, whatever you do, corrupt man will always be corrupt. You cannot change it. So the only way is to light the lamp of knowledge in his heart. The transformation of the heart has to happen. And for that, the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam have to be spread. And the more the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is spread, the more the vices can be controlled. So this is what we have to understand from this verse. And so we should take, and so we understand therefore why the Acharyas have placed so much emphasis on distribution of books. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all of them, they were with so much vigor, they propagated the knowledge of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada specifically descended to distribute this knowledge in the English language, because English is the most widely spoken language. So therefore, special emphasis has to be given to this distribution of the literature by Srila Prabhupada. And as long as Prabhupada's literatures are distributed widely, Kali Yuga will always be under control. So, I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss. Yes, please.
Prabhu, we are conducting book fair in various colleges, and we see that the response is not, we see students are not ready to take books or read books a lot. Even they take also, we call them and ask them, have you read that? No, I don't get time, and I have, even IIT, I am telling about the IITs. And we went to IIMC and college, Prabhu. Here that OSD, officer on special duty, is a IAS officer, 18 for that. He is telling many bookstores have closed or they have closed because nowadays generations are not likely to read to books.
Yes.
So, is there any other method or the distribution?
So, the Prabhupada has given us the formula. Prabhupada has given us the stuff, the matter. Now it is up to us to find out ways and means of getting people interested. That service Prabhupada, of course, Prabhupada wanted to liberate the whole universe in one go. But then Prabhupada left behind some work for us. Otherwise we will all become lazy. We will become lazy and we will simply eat and sleep. So we have to do some work also. So Prabhupada has left behind that, so that we will rack our intelligence. If everything is made easy, then where is the joy of service? So that's the service that is given to us. We have to rack our brains and find out ways and means of distributing the books and making people interested in them. So naturally, when we are distributing the highest knowledge, we cannot expect masses to come and take it. Right? If you are selling aloo in the market, you can expect everyone to come and buy. If you are selling diamonds, you cannot go to the aloo market and sell diamonds. Right? Nobody will buy. So very few people understand the value of a diamond. Very few people will be able to appreciate the value of a diamond and buy a diamond. So similarly, this knowledge that is contained in the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is the highest knowledge, ultimate knowledge. There is nothing beyond this. Nothing beyond this. So naturally, to be able to appreciate that and to value it, it's not possible for everyone. And therefore, the takers will always be few in number. But those who take it, they are the most fortunate souls. Even if they just hold Prabhupada's books, just the presence of Prabhupada's books in their homes or in their offices or in their rooms is itself a great fortune. And we do not know, Prabhupada said, all these books are time bombs. They are sitting in somebody's shelf and time is ticking away. Somewhere somebody will pick up that book and then, boom, that's all. The person will become a devotee. So it's just a matter of time. Once that book has gone out, somebody when we are distributing books, he just comes and sees, oh, nice covers, even that much is enough. His sukriti has advanced. So in every way, any way a person comes in touch with Prabhupada's books, he appreciates anything, any part of the literature, he will progress in spiritual life. And some time in life, that will have an effect. There are so many examples like this. When the devotees are distributing books, they tell about how they came in touch with Krishna consciousness. Like there was one story about how one man was a professional thief. Every day he used to go and steal, burgle houses. So one day he went to one house and he somehow opened the window and got into the house. It was night. Naturally thieves work only in the night, right? Not in the daytime. So he was about to switch on the light in the room when he heard some sound. Somebody was entering the house. So he thought, it's so much difficulty, so much endeavor. I have entered the house. Now if I go without anything, it doesn't look good. So in the dark, he put his hand, he got something in his hand, something which was a little heavy. He took it and ran out. When he went home, he opened and saw it was Bhagavad Gita as it is, by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He said, I thought something heavy, valuable it will be this. Then he thought, what to do? Anyway, with so much endeavor I have got it. Let me read it. He started reading it. And by the time he finished it, he was completely blown. He called up his girlfriend, who was also a thief. And he told her, I got this book. Read it, and he gave it to her. She also read the book and she was like, she was completely blown. So both of them decided, from today, stop theft and let us go and find out the nearest ISKCON temple. They roamed around, found one ISKCON temple, and went and joined there and became devotees in the temple. Can you imagine? From where to where? So like this, there are so many incredible instances where people have come in touch with Prabhupada's books and they have benefited immensely out of that. So where that book is going, we don't know whom it is going to affect, who is going to get that nectar of Krishna consciousness, but it's definitely going to hit somebody sometime or later. It's just waiting there. Prabhupada's books are just waiting there. Yes, please.
Like you know that these people are very rare. Everybody cannot take these books. So the people who are supporting propagation of this movement, they are also like very rare.
Yes.
Very rare.
Yes.
Krishna service, they are not easily available.
Yeah.
So that way we can see that everybody cannot serve Krishna. Prabhupada movement.
Well, it is simple. You see, the principle given by Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita is Yadyat Ajarati Shreshta Tatyadevetaro Janana. That whatever a leader performs, others follow. So general mass of people simply follow whatever the leaders tell. So it requires, if you see, the whole world is actually conducted by maybe 0.5% of the population. Actually 0.5% of the population is driving the rest of the 99.5% of the population. What they have to think, what they have to feel, how they should approach life, all these things are set by about 0.5% of the population. So if 1% of the population becomes Krishna conscious, the whole world will become Krishna conscious. We don't have to make 100% people Krishna conscious. 1% of the whole world's population, if they become Krishna conscious, the whole world will become Krishna conscious. They will drive the rest of the population to Krishna consciousness. So that is why Krishna, he did not preach to all the masses. Krishna spoke only to Arjuna and made him sit on the throne. Right? He preached to Krishna, Krishna preached to Arjuna, and Yudhishthira was his devotee. He made the devotee sit on the throne because he knew, Krishna knows that if I make if the emperor is a devotee, the rest of the population is taken care. They will all be devotees. Yes, please.
Prabhupada says also, 1% of the population become Krishna conscious, the face of the world will change.
Exactly. I was repeating the same. that's the challenge. So we have a target for ourselves. Yes, please.
Prabhu, generally, those heart transformations which has occurred by reading Prabhupada books, and then there is abrupt change in their life, in their consciousness, generally we see only in the foreigners. In India, actually I have not heard of any big examples where from a stage of a thief and he got converted into devotee.
Maybe Indians have not followed out so much.
Even after reading 10 books, they will still be thinking of that heart transformation has not occurred, especially in India. There,
You cannot say. These examples may not be there in the front of our knowledge. I know of one person who was an underworld don in Bangalore. When he started coming to the temple, he started chanting, his whole life changed. Poor guy, of course, he cannot come completely out of that, but at least, he changed in a big way. So, such people do get changed. We have examples like Mrigari and Valmiki Muni. They were all from India, not from India.
Doctor who read Bhagavad Gita and he changed. He's not fully devotee system now getting initiated.
See?
An example.
Of course, he's a doctor. He's saying somebody like Dawood Ibrahim, so that it will be nice. It also depends on the power of the preacher. You see? Prabhupada can transform so many people, so many personalities. So it needs like Nityananda Prabhu, he converted Jagai Maharaj because Nityananda Prabhu is all powerful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made all the animals dance in ecstasy in Jharkhand. Right? So it all depends on the power of the preacher also. How pure the preacher is, according to that he will be able to convert other people. So that's the thing. So Prabhupada, if you see, his primary work was in the West only. So naturally he touched many Western souls and converted them. So I'm sure if Prabhupada had spent a little more time in India, he would have converted many people in India also. Not impossible for Prabhupada. Of course, initially Prabhupada spent a lot of time in India, 1955 to 68. But Krishna wanted him to start from there. So Krishna had a different plan. So that was the reason. Not that there was something lacking in Prabhupada. That was not the thing. So Prabhupada is all powerful. So, but then Krishna had his plan. So that is why that is Prabhupada's Leela. So he performed his Leelas there. So that's why you see most of the things happening there. Doesn't mean that Indians are not or have different kind of art. It's not that. All of us are conditioned so. They may have white skin, they may have little lesser white skin. Still inside it's all the same. Same as the body grows white. Okay. Yes, please.
No, it depends on the other person's interest also. It's like we distribute books and the other person by our force he starts reading also. But how much he takes interest in reading depends on that also.
Yes, Krishna's and Prabhupada's kripa has to be there. Ultimately, their kripa, if it is not there, no matter how much a person may do, he will not do Krishna conscious. Like Prabhupada says, one may chant 16 million rounds every day or 16 million lifetimes, still one may not become fully Krishna conscious. So it's not a mechanical process. Kripa of Prabhupada and Krishna has to be there. Once the kripa of Prabhupada and Krishna is there, then the person will become convinced about Krishna consciousness and he will be able to take it up next. So we'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Shri Bhagavatam ki, Shri Radha Chandra ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, I hope